Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 4 of my Android development tutorial for beginners. Today we're going to finish off the application that we started in part 3, and we're going to be focusing in a lot on how to use Activity Starter. So I thought a really good way to start this off is to look at the finished app. So let's jump into it. Okay, and here you can see the final application. If we click on Test button, it's going to make a zombie noise and vibrate. If we click on the checkbox, you're going to see up here that the event was triggered, and there it'll be triggered again. We can also come in here, of course, and change our favorite color. There we go. We can add and delete colors as well. If you look up here as I use the slider, you're going to see that the age is being changed, but it's not showing as a fraction. We're also going to be able to come in here, enter a password, so just anything, and hit enter. You're going to see right there that the notification pops up, and hit OK on that. You're also going to see here, if we hit open website, that the website is going to automatically open up here on our screen for us. And there it is. It's out of focus though, but either way, let's just go back. Also, we're going to be able to send emails. Just click on that, and it's going to give us an option for what to use. And if I just hit this, if you have a default, it's going to jump immediately into it, but you can see right here, help please is in there and all that stuff. And we can just delete this. You can also go and use Google Maps to go directly to the White House, and there that is. And we're also going to be able to open up YouTube. Remember, if that was default, it would automatically open. And there is one of my videos. And jump out of that. And then finally, we can hit camera, and the camera app is going to open up for us. So you can see, and it's black because it's on my desk. So you can see this app does a whole bunch of different things. So let's go in there and figure out all the things we haven't covered yet. Okay, so now you saw the finished application. So now it's time to come in here and add a couple more things to our layout. And one thing that sort of came up whenever I started this originally, meaning before the video started, the components part was over here and the media part was over here. And just so you know how to fix that if that happens to you, come in here and log out of your App Inventor system and re-log in, and everything will go back to the way it was. So that's actually kind of fortunate. It's the first time that's ever happened. So what we need to do here is add 5 more buttons. So what we're going to do is go into layout, get horizontal arrangement, drag it over here, drop it inside of there, and then we're going to get ourselves 3 more buttons. So come back up here to user interface, get a button, and let's drag it over and drop it inside of there, and we might as well just get all the buttons at once. And these are going to be the different activities that we're going to have fire whenever we click on these buttons. So there we go, and there it is. And of course I have to still get the slider to work and also open zombie, which is going to open our zombie application for us. And I'm also going to come in here and get another layout, horizontal arrangement, which is going to open up YouTube and a couple other different things. User interface, get another button, drag it down there, drop it in, and get another button and drag it down and drop it in. Okay, so now we have those all set up. Now let's go and give these good names. So I'm just going to call this open website is what it's going to say over there, open website. And in the block section, I'll actually make all this stuff work. And we can also come in here, click on rename, and rename this website button. There we go, click OK. You can say open website, website button. Let's click on this one, and let's give this a name of email button, and there that is. And then we can click off of that and go rename and call it email button. Actually, probably makes sense here to call this send email rather than email button. Okay, so that says send email. Click on this, and this guy is going to open up a map, and we're going to give it latitude and longitude. So let's call this geo map just to give it a name. Click on rename, come over here and call this map button. It's going to open up the Google Maps application. Click on this one. This is going to be the YouTube button. So let's just call it YouTube, and then click on rename. And let's just call it YouTube button. Remember, there can't be any spaces here. And then the final one, whenever we click on that, is going to open up the camera, which means we also have to put the camera component inside of here. But first, we're just going to call this camera. And I'm not going to get into returning the picture that is taken with the camera. I'll do that in the next part of the tutorial. And I'm just going to call this camera button, and that's fine. And then to make all that work, of course, we're going to have to go into media and get camera and drag that over here and drop it there, and you can see it shows up there. All right, so we added all the different things we need in the designer block. So now we need to jump over into the blocks part of App Inventor and make everything work. Okay, so here we are in the blocks part, and you can see right here the very last thing I did was show you how to delete items from lists. So now what I need to do is make the slider work. So the very first thing I'm going to do is come over here and we can look for slider, which is right here. Click on that. And what do I want it to do? Well, there's only really one event that it catches, and that is position changed. So what I want to do is have the label at the top of the screen change when the position of the slider changes. So I'm going to have to come and get set button event label, because that's what I've been using. Going to duplicate that, drag it over here, drop it into place, and then the text is actually going to be multiple lines, so that means I'm going to need a join, and the join is in the text area. So click on that, drag it over here, and let's just drop it right there. Grab this because we're going to use that, drop this right here, and then I'm going to put in a string of text, and it is going to say age slider changed to, put a space, and then I need to get whatever the value of the slider is at that moment. So that means I'm going to have to go and get the slider component again. So where is it hiding at here? There it is. Click on that. And I need to find the thumb position, which is right here. Now the only problem with this is by default, it is going to return a fraction. Now, since most people do not think about fractions in regards to their age, that means we want to round it down. And to do that, anytime you're talking about math, you're going to have to go into the math section, and let's take a look at the different things that are available here for us. So let's just scroll through here, and one of them, ceiling would make it round up, floor would make it round down. So we're going to take the floor, drag it over here, drop it right there, and drop this in right there. And what this is going to do is it's going to eliminate the fractions on the slider. So there we go. Slider is working. The next thing we want to do is make our zombie work. But to do that, I'm going to use a special app on my Android phone to find some special information so that I'll be able to properly do this. However, what I'm going to do first is set this up, then show you how I get the proper information to be able to open up any app from inside of App Inventor. So I'm going to want to, whenever the zombie button is clicked on, I'm going to want the zombie app to open, and there is the open zombie button. And so when the open zombie button is clicked, I want a bunch of things to occur. Now, whenever we want to use the activity starter, which is the guy that we're going to be using in this situation, there's a whole bunch of different things we have to do. Now, if we want to, I'm going to show you other ways of using activity starter. But if you want to open up an App Inventor app from inside of another App Inventor app, what you're going to have to do is get two pieces of information to do so. One is going to be the package, which is pretty much like all the code, and it's like all the code for the app all in one box is called a package, and I'm dramatically simplifying that, but that's basically what a package is. So what I'm going to have to do here is set the package, the folder where all the stuff lies, get that, drag it over here, drop it in there. In a second I'll show you how to get the package information. And then what I'm going to do is I need to get the class, the very specific activity that is going to start. So again, activity starter, and I want to get set activity class. Now we're going to drop that inside of there. And then after I define the package, the folder where it is, and the class, the specific thing that I want to execute, I need to call for the activity to start. So click on that, and that sounds a lot like a method, and of course it is, and it starts off with call, and it's purple, and everything's perfect, and drop that inside of there. Now I get into the specifics of what package do I use, and I'm going to jump over into my phone and show you the tool that I use to get that. Okay, so if we want to be able to come in here and open up an App Inventor app from inside of an App Inventor app, what we're going to have to do here is download, or at least this is what I use something called Android System Info. And what it does is it gives me the package information I need. It's free, just hit open, get it, install, blah, 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 blah. But this is what it does for us. Here it is, I'm opening it up. Now, if I want to be able to open up an App Inventor app inside of an App Inventor app, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to look for it on my phone, So let's look for the zombie app, for example. And this is also going to show you exactly how you're going to be able to open up pretty much any type of app from inside of App Inventor, by the way. What I'm specifically looking for is the zombie app, and there it is, Hello Zombie. Now if I click on it and I look right here, this is what I'm looking for. Package name, see it? It says appinventor.ai, and there is my name, .hello zombie. That is the information I'm going to need to be able to open any application, but specifically to open this App Inventor app, and I can't really get in any closer. So that is the tool I use to be able to open up all sorts of other different applications from App Inventor. Alright, so now that I showed you exactly how to get the package, I am going to go and define it. So if you can remember from previous little part where I was in that app, it is appinventor.ai underscore Derek Banas, because that is my name, and Hello Zombie in this situation is what I want to open up, and that is the package. So we can take that and throw it there. Now to get the class, I'm pretty much going to use the same exact thing here. So I'm going to go duplicate and drop that on there. And the only change I'm going to make is at the very end of this, I'm going to pipe in dot screen 1. And that is going to allow me to open other App Inventor apps from inside of an App Inventor app. So kind of neat. Now we get into kind of a simpler way of doing things in regards to how are we going to open up websites, emails, Google Maps, YouTube, and the camera. Well, the camera is actually extremely easy. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to say when the camera button is clicked on. So let's just go camera button, and when it's clicked on, we're going to grab it, drop it over here, and then what we need to do is call the camera, which is this guy right here. Super simple. And go to take picture. Grab that, drop it right there, and that's all you need to do. Right there, now whenever they click on that button named camera, it's going to automatically jump over into the camera part of your Google device, or Android device, I guess I should say. Now, if we want a website to open, pretty much going to do the same sort of stuff. You're going to look for your website button. There it is. Click on that, and we're going to say when the website button is clicked on, we want to open a website in our browser. So to do that, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to define an action, something that we want to occur. And these are all going to be basically the same, because we're going to let our Android device basically define the special or the right app to open based off of the type of data we're saying we want. Okay, so let me just show you this. So we're going to go into Activity Starter. Anytime you want to open up an activity, you want to open up another app, you're going to use the Activity Starter. And in this situation, you're going to say that you want a certain action to be performed. And I'm not going to get into the specifics of what this means. Pretty much going to be using the same action over and over and over again whenever you want to open up an app. So we're just going to come in here, and the specific thing we're going to do is type in android.intent.action.view. And there we go. And that is going to go in there almost every single time, that specific thing. And of course, under the video, I have a link to all of these blocks printed out on my website, so maybe it'll be easier to see that way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to find the type of data that we want to use, and then let our Android device figure out which is the right application to open. So we're going to again go into Activity Starter, click on that, and then we're going to look for Data URI, and there it is right there. So grab this guy, drag it over here, drop it in, and then we're going to say that we want to go to a website, and it's automatically going to open up the browser, HTTP, and let's say that I want to go to my website, newthinktank.com, and hit enter and drop that in there. And then what we need to do in this situation is say Start Activity. So you're basically saying, hey, this is the type of data I want to work with, Android. Go get me the right activity. So we're going to go duplicate, copy this, drop it right there, and there you go. So whenever you click on the website button, it's automatically going to work. Now we can also, we have an email button. Let's zoom out of here so we can get ourselves some more screen real estate. And let's come in here and duplicate this guy. And I'm going to make the email thing automatically work with the email button. So I'm going to go change this from website button to email button. There that is. We're going to let the action be the same as it is right there. And the data URI, the type of data we're going to work with, is going to be mail. Now to have the mail application open up, we're going to go mail to, and then we're going to type in an email address that we want to use. So let's just say, there we go. And then on top of that, if we would want to add a subject to it, we could just put a question mark inside of there. Let's scroll over a little bit. And then we could type in subject is equal to, and then we could say help. The only thing we have to remember here is we have to put a % and a 20. That represents a empty or a space, a blank space. Have to always fill in %20 to represent all spaces, and then we could type in please. We could also come in here and go and CC is equal to, and then put that in there, the additional email address. We could also come in here and type in body as well, but I'm just going to leave it simply like that. For homework, you can go in there and play around with all the other different options you're going to have to do, or the things you want to play around with. Just remember, can't have any spaces inside of here, and any spaces that you do have, you have to replace with a %20. And hit enter, and that's it. It's done. Now whenever you click on that email button, it's automatically going to open up the email, and it's going to put the subject of help, please. So, kind of neat. If we want to get our map to work, we're going to do another duplication here. So duplicate, grab this guy, drop him right there. And in this situation, we're going to change this to map button. And then we're going to leave this be exactly the same. Still going to be view right here. All we're going to have to do now is type in geo. And this is going to be the geolocation for the map that we want to open. Now I use a website kind of by default. Let me go and take a look at that for a second. Here it is. I don't know why I started using this. Started using this forever ago. It's a free plug to this university, I guess. But anything, if you just type in map geolocation or something like that, this is just what I use. Then what you're going to be able to do is, let's say that I want to put the White House on here. I just go type in the address for it, hit search, and it pops back the latitude and the longitude. So I'm just going to copy this, jump back into my app, jump in here, and right after it says geo, I'm going to go paste, and then I'm going to put a comma in there, jump back into the browser, get to this number right here, copy that, jump back over here, and right after this, I'm going to paste in the geolocation. And I can leave this be start activity, and this is going to automatically open up a Google map and zero in on the White House. So that's how that works. If you want to open up a YouTube video, again, we're going to duplicate this. We're going to drop it down here. Android intent action view is going to be the same as it was before. Let me go and find myself a video to show. And here you can see right here is my YouTube video for the first part of this tutorial. I'm going to copy that, jump back over into App Inventor, come down here to where I'm going to have my YouTube button be. I'm going to have to zoom out, get myself a little bit more space. Zoom back in there, click on that, and look for YouTube button. There it is. And then for the data URI, I'm going to say that I want a YouTube video, and it's going to automatically open up the YouTube app. So the only thing left to do now is to make the password and the notification thing work. Let's go look at that. So what I want to do is have the password thing work here. They're going to type in their password. It's going to be blocked off. And then they're going to hit this button right here. Let's go and actually give it a name. Come over here and let's type in enter. There we go. And let's look here and see if we actually gave it a good name. Yes, we typed in enter password button. Okay, so there, that's set. Jump back over into blocks and let's make that work. So we're going to come over here and we're going to say, all right, where is enter password button? There it is. And enter password button, look for click. There that is. Drop it right here. That'll work, I think. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say whenever they click on that, we're going to get the password. We're going to open up a dialog that says never give anybody your password. So let's come down inside of here. We can see here that we have the notifier. Click on that. And there are a bunch of different types of notifications or dialogues that we can have pop up here. I'm just going to keep it real simple. I'm going to use this one. Previously I used that one. You can go in there again for homework. You can play around with all the different options that are available. We're going to drop that right there. And then we're going to want to have a longer message. So we're going to get ourselves a join. So come up here and get text, and there's join, and we're going to drag it over here and drop it in. See that automatically resized. Let's go and get ourselves a little bit more room inside of here. And then what we're going to do is click here and say, don't tell anyone your password is, put a space, enter, grab that, drop it right there. If we want to get the password that they actually entered, we're going to come over here again and we're going to look for password text box. There that is. And we're going to say that we want the text that they entered. So we're not going to be setting it, we're going to be getting it. Come over here, drop that in there, and there that's set. And then if we just want to come in and do something like received password, and drop that string in there right there. And then for the button text, do something like OK, and there that is. So there we go. The application is finished. We saw a whole bunch of different ways to start different activities, and in the next part of the tutorial I'm going to create like a media application. It's going to play videos and music and a whole bunch of other different things. Please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.